Welcome to Self-Publishing Authors, home for candid talks and honest recommendations, from book editing to book marketing, from author journeys to inspirations. Hosted by Gurhan Demirkan.
Hello everybody, I am here with Lisa Orban. She is the owner of Indies United Publishing House, and we are going to have a little chat about this being an indie publishing house. So let's get to it. Let's start asking her some questions. Okay, hello Lisa, and we have some questions for you. Okay, so you are the Indies United Publishing House, and you're the owner of this house, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And of course, our first question is, how did you come up with this name? How did you come up with it?
You know, I ran through a couple of other names first, and they were all taken. And so I was talking it over with some people, and I'm like, it's just, I want this band of indies. And we kept saying the word indies and, helping to bring together independent authors. And it just started to just, Indies United. Yeah, okay. It made sense. It kind of told what we were, in the name. So that it stuck.
Can you give us an example? Like one of the first ones that you thought of? Do you remember?
Scapegoat Productions.
Yeah. Okay.
Scapegoat Publishing House. Yeah. What was the other one? There was another one. It was really funny, but someone had already taken it. I was really upset about it. So the first couple ones were more funny, to try and get people's attention. But yeah, in the end, like I said, a lot of them were just taken. So because I do have, I'm registered, I have an LLC, we have a domain, so I needed to make sure that all of those things were clear so that I could claim the name. And so yeah, Indies United was not taken by anybody, and that's what we ended up with.
Wow. Indies United wasn't taken, but Scapegoat was taken.
Well,
That's interesting.
I think it was what was the other one? Oh, I can't remember. It's been 3 years, but it was funny, so that's what I got.
Yeah, that was actually my question. So it's been about what? How many years? 3 years?
It will be 3 years on the 12th of September. Exactly 3 years.
Nice. And so you have this unique business model.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Explain that to us.
So I started the company because I got mad. When anyone tells you that anger doesn't solve anything, that's not true. It solves a lot of problems. I got mad. And so it basically came down to a lot of publishing houses, they always stick with trends when you're submitting a book. So you might write the next great, J.K. Rowling book, but if that's not what it's in vogue, you'll never get published. Matter of fact, J.K. Rowling's books got thrown in the trash. It was fished out by a garbage, by the janitor, and said, hey, you need to read this. So, I mean, it was just a fluke that she was discovered. And that's how a lot of, the big authors get discovered. It's a fluke. And publishing houses, how they have their business model is they dump and invest almost all their money into this 1% of their authors, and then all their second string, or third string authors, they're like, oh, you're on your own. We'll take your book and we'll throw a little bit of money your way, but you're going to lose all control of your book. You're going to lose all control of, the creative aspect to it. Once you publish it with us, you will dictate how many books you have to write in whatever amount of time. Oh, and you're also on your own when it comes to advertising and everything else. Good luck. And that's really how they run things. And so if you go with a big publishing house and you do get taken, if you're not that top tier, there's really not a lot in it for you. House authors don't, if you're second string, do not make a lot of money. They lose all their creative control. They're responsible for setting up all their publishing and engagement dates and, launches and everything else. The company will put a little bit of money into them, but not a lot. And, even those advance checks, they're just, they'll take out whatever they owe. And a lot of authors end up just continually owing money back to the company because they're not making back what they're putting into them, so to speak.
Not selling enough.
They're not selling enough. And mostly it comes down to because
What
they're
what
not.
what would be the advance check? Like $2,500 or maybe 15,000? What, 50,000?
About $10,000.
Okay.
That's the average. It's 10,000. So that there's some that, they're like, hey, here's this $1,000 check, or here's this $500 check, and there's others that'll be 30,000. But it just kind of depends on the publishing house, the genre, the author, the different deals they make. But anyway, so it's really hard to get into one of these houses. And again, once you get there, you've lost all control. And so the other end of the spectrum is, publishing independently. And when you do that, it's hard. It's really hard, because now everything's on you. The editing, the cover art, the public, the launching, the advertising, the marketing. It's a lot. And, even something as simple as once you have the book, figuring out how to upload it to all the different distribution points and where you should distribute it and how much you should, charge for it. And there's all these, there's 1,000 different little moving parts to get one single book out. And it's, and so a lot of authors are just like, I just want to write. And, and then unfortunately, the third option is vanity publishing, where you pay someone a ton of money. And I mean, we've had authors coming to us that have paid $30,000 or more to have their books published. I'm not kidding. It's a lot of money. And what they get for that is generally nothing back, and they, some authors have lost all rights to their book for as little as $500 because they sign these contracts not looking at them. And what the contracts say is, by signing this contract, we'll give you $500 for it, and the book now belongs solely and exclusively to us. And so now
I'm hoping there's a time limit to it.
No, they've lost the book. They got paid $500 for it, and now the book is no longer theirs. That's happened to people that I, to authors that I know. And it's a shock because they don't realize they've actually lost their book. And the companies come back and like, no, we paid you for it. It's ours. And they do this.
No royalties either?
No, they paid them for the book.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't realize that. They paid them for the book. And the reason a lot of these houses will do that is, it's kind of they keep throwing stuff at the wall till something sticks. They'll pay an author $500, and then they'll publish it and, release it and produce it and everything else. And if it makes money, great. And if it makes over the $500, bonus. So they make enough money that they can continue to do this, but these authors have lost the rights to their books forever. And so anyway, I was getting mad at these very limited options and how badly independent authors were being treated, by, places like even Amazon, the way they do their analytics to how they do their rankings, whether you're a house author or not a house author, affects your rankings. So as a house author, even if it's a small house, you get higher ranking automatically than you would as an even better indie author, which isn't fair. It should be about the book, but it's not.
I couldn't explain that to anybody.
Yeah,
I lecture that every single time I do webinars. I just can't get through these people.
Yeah. So I mean, everything is really stacked against authors going independent, but in a lot of ways, authors are better off because, again, unless you're that top tier author at a traditional publishing house, you have to do all this stuff that you have to do as an indie author, but you get less money. Our business model is, so basically what happens is once you've been accepted as one of our authors, you are still responsible for your cover art, and the other things like you are with an independent author. But you also get, we will help you out. We'll help you get things set up. We'll help you find beta readers. We'll help you find editors. We'll help you find cover artists. We'll help you keep it all together. We'll keep track of things for you. And that's a big important one because I spend a lot of my day just tracking down paperwork for my authors. Okay. Hey, Lisa, I don't remember what I did with X. Oh yeah, here it is. So I do this, probably a dozen times a day. It's just there's a lot of paperwork. And then we charge a processing fee for the ISBNs that we assign that belong to us, that they, Indies United, that it has our imprint on it. And then we have a small monthly advertising fee, and it's less than a latte. So, we're not talking about thousands of dollars here. Okay. It's a latte a month is what it costs you for advertising with us.
That's a good one. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think everybody's going to flock into this now.
and and so and that's enough to keep our doors open and keep us going. And then that advertising fee literally does just go to advertising, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but right now we have 50 authors. You multiply a latte times 50, and
Sure.
suddenly you have money, and as
A
we
chunk.
get bigger, we'll continue to grow. And you retain all rights to your books. The copy art, or the interior manuscript, the cover art, everything, it's yours. The only thing that we lay claim to is the ISBNs that we assign under our imprint. And we do submit your book to the Library of Congress, and the Library of Congress number is attached to that ISBN, so we lay claim to those. So if you decide you want to leave us, all we do is we retire those ISBNs. We inform the Library of Congress that it's no longer an active book, and then you are free to move on, because everything
So
else
they can actually go grab another ISBN and publish the book one
right.
more time.
So let's say, I don't know, let's say Random House gets a hold of one of my authors and went, "Oh my God, I'm blown away by your book. We want to give you $100,000 for it, a year."
Yes.
Well, yeah, please go. I'm not going to stop you.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, I love all my authors. I really do, but I would never ever stand in any of their ways if they got a great deal like that.
Yes.
Because the whole point is to get them out in front of people, to give them the best shot they can to get their words out in front of readers, and get their rankings up, and help them actually build their author business, I guess is the best way to say it. And if we happen to be in their way from getting this great contract, then we will happily step aside. And
you actually brand them.
Yeah. Sure, I do.
Yeah. they get an author brand, whatever their name is. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, sorry. I'm thinking, wait a minute. No, I'm
not.
No,
not the other brand.
Home on the range. I'm not taking them out on the ranch somewhere and branding them with our logo.
Yeah, you get their author brand, in other words. So
yes.
If they land on a contract or whatever it is, because they're branded. They are
exactly.
a brand name. Yep. So you just say, hey, that's nice. Cool.
Well, and here's the other thing, because again, going back to the traditional houses, they have new rules now that a lot of them will not even look at an author unless they have a solid following of at least 50,000 active followers. So if you don't have 50,000 active followers following your author brand, most publishing houses won't even begin to look at you, because you're too much of an effort. They want someone that's coming in already established with an author brand that they can, basically feed off of.
So the question becomes, why do I need you?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, there's, the money is the money, and the ability to turn a book over to a publishing house and just say it's yours and walk away is the appeal of going to a traditional publishing house. The reality of it is, though, is it's probably not going to happen. And we are a good in between between a traditional publishing house and being an indie author. And we're not going to take advantage of you like a vanity publisher will. And I spend a lot of time, as I roam through the internet. No, don't. Those are bad people. They'll take all your money.
I met one, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
Were
I
they
did.
nice?
About a week ago. He was very nice. But he used to be Vanity. He used to work for a Vanity company.
Gotcha.
And when that's when he was getting his feet wet. He
Mm.
didn't know. And then all of a sudden, of course, he started realizing what he was doing. He's like, okay, bye. That's it
Yeah.
for me.
This has got to end.
So, among all this, what services do you provide?
Okay,
So,
so
so
basically
the
what we
authors
do,
will just come to you, in other words.
right? So once they come to me, we start. It starts off pretty simple. We go over their books, and they for new authors anyway, they bring in a manuscript. For existing authors, it's a little bit different. But for new authors, they come in, they send us a manuscript. I send it out to a group of beta readers that we have gathered together for this specific purpose. And we have different ones for different genres. And they'll go through
Wait. You send it out to beta readers. So that's a free service to the author?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that must be nice, because I mean, for an author to get his or her book read by the beta readers, it's going to cost them money.
Oh, no, not with us. It's free.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's nice.
So it'll go out to at least 3 beta readers, sometimes as many as 6, depending on the genre.
Mhm.
And then it's usually it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get the books back. And what they'll do is they'll make their recommendations. They'll tell me what they liked about it, what they didn't like, what they had issues with, any recommendations. And then usually I'll read the book too in that time frame, and see if, and once there's a consensus, yeah, this is a good author, bring them in, or you should run away. Had unfortunately a couple of those. There's nothing there. But usually that's very rare. Out of all the books that ever have been submitted to me, that's, usually what'll happen is sometimes I'll say to an author, if you make all these corrections and resubmit your book, then we'll take it, take another look at it. We don't charge to submit your book to us. There's no charge if you want to resubmit your book to us. It's, there's no fees involved in that.
One way or another, those beta readers, they cost money. I'm telling you that.
Yeah. Well,
so you're just doing this for free. Actually, you're taking the book and telling the author, hey, this is worth it, or this is not worth it.
Right. Exactly. And we'll tell them why it's worth it or why it's not worth it. And
Yes.
so they'll get a breakdown. Some of our authors have gotten mad and said, no, my book is perfect the way it is, and I'm going to go publish it on my own. All right. That's fine.
Excellent.
Excellent. Have fun, enjoy.
Yeah.
And we've had others that went, that's I never thought of that. Like I'll get right on it. And then, we'll help connect him with editors. And here's the other thing, again, in the indie world, one of the things that's really hard to find is ethical vendors, ones that say, hey, I'm going to edit your book and actually send you an edited book, have done the work. People that say, I'm going to give you a cover and actually deliver the cover. This is, you wouldn't think that this should be an issue. I pay you money, you give me what I paid for. That shouldn't be an issue, but it is a huge issue where you'll get back, what you're getting back is not what you asked for. It's not done correctly. It's shoddy workmanship or whatever. Everyone else is guaranteed money out of this process. Between once the book is created, everyone else is guaranteed a paycheck. The editors, the formatters, the cover artists, everyone is guaranteed a paycheck except the author, who's forking out money with no guarantee. And
risking it.
Yeah. And if you're going to be paying out that money, then by God, you should be getting what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And so that was part of what made me mad. That's part of what made me decide to try and do this, because I wanted to not just build a coalition of authors. I wanted to build a coalition of vendors that we could trust, that we could go to, and anyone, it doesn't, and not just our authors, any author can go to our help pages on our website and find cover artists and marketing people and a whole bunch of other different things, and know that it's actually going to be done right. These are not shady people. they've been verified.
Let me get this straight. You already have those posted on your website.
Yes.
And but those are the services that you provide. But I can always go to those guys and just directly and say, hey, I'll give you this much money and go ahead and edit my book.
Yes.
So you're out of the loop though, right?
I don't get a kickback from any of that.
You're a very nice person.
Thank you. Well, indie authors are often very much taken advantage of. I am trying to help level the playing field so that you're
Yes.
not being taken advantage of. I've been taken advantage of when I was a brand new author. I know a lot of people that have been taken advantage of. And,
Sure.
it's publishing is a very complicated business. All right. There's nothing intuitive about it. It's again, it's 10,000 details before any book hits the shelf, so to speak. And it's hard, because especially when you're new, you don't know what you need to be doing.
Yes.
So that's where I come in. I tell you what you need to do. I'm very good at telling people what to do, in a very nice way. And,
So what you do, you author comes and start off
mhm,
the beta readers. It's free.
right,
Tell the author, hey, yes, this is worth it, or you got to do these, otherwise
mhm,
it's no good.
right.
That's free. Author takes, and then you provide, I guess, editing, covers. What
Well,
else?
what we do is, here's what happens is, so what we do is, once the books comes to us and we say, yes, we will accept you. The author is still responsible for their own cover art. We can help them with this, but for the most part, they're responsible for getting their own cover art, and we'll help them find an editor for their books. And, so that, those costs are still on them.
Oh, so
Because
those are the services. You don't provide those services.
no, we'll help them find those services,
Okay.
but we don't provide them. And part of the, I had thought about it, but the problem with that is then I would have to actually charge a lot more money, because
Sure.
here's the caveat to it. I don't take a percentage of your sales.
Yeah.
All the book sales from every book you sell goes not to me, it goes directly to the author. So you don't have a waiting period for me at all. So it doesn't like come through me and then I distribute it out. No, the money goes, if you have your book up on Amazon, it goes from Amazon to you. If you have it up on,
So the accounts on those platforms, they all
Mhm.
belong to the authors.
Yep, they all belong to the
Not-
authors.
Yeah.
And now I will, if my authors need me to, I will set their books up on those platforms for them. I'll upload their books. I'll do all the pre-order stuff. I'll make sure everything's set. If there's problems with, like the cover art or something, if something's slightly off, I'll work with them and make sure that because a lot of times I can make a few tweaks to a cover, I can make a few tweaks to an interior
Uh-huh.
on my own and fix problems for them. So I can make sure all that goes smoothly. And and I probably upload about at least a book a week, at least to
So
every.
how do you make money?
How do I make money? The ISBN assignments.
Okay.
That's where I'm. And then I for my authors, and this is a service. You won't find it listed on any of the vendor services, but for my authors, I do offer them a deal if they want me to do the formatting.
Okay.
And so if they want me to do it, then I do charge an additional fee for that. But it's not excessive. It's actually it's below market standard. But I'm doing it as a favor to my authors.
Okay.
So it's normally what it would cost to have someone else do the formatting would be about $300, and I charge $100. So they're getting
Okay.
they're getting a deal.
Yes, a deal of a lifetime.
Yes. So yeah, like I said, it's the money comes from like the ISBNs and then assignments, because it's there's a set fee for each one. And most books require 3. You need one for paperback, you need one for Amazon, and then you need one for everywhere else for ebooks, because Amazon does not play nice with anybody else, and I have no control over this. But if you publish an ebook on Amazon, once you've done that, you can't use that ISBN for an ebook anywhere else. They're very greedy about it. So
they didn't used to, but they started that about a year ago or so.
No, it's been about. They just started it right before I opened my doors, so about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And just to tell you how greedy they got, they actually were trying to push that any paperbacks that were printed by them those ISBNs solely belong to them. And that's when the other big houses came in and went, no, it's not how you're going to do that.
It's absurd. Yeah.
It's absurd. Amazon got around the ebook by saying that their Kindle technology is proprietary.
Hmm.
And so that's how they were able to, and they put a lot of pressure on Bowkers, who's the sole distributor of ISBNs in the United States.
Yeah.
So yeah, they I don't know how much was dined or wined, as in wine, with them, but they got their way. And so yeah, so like I said, each book requires at least 3. If you want to do hardback, 4, and then if you want an audiobook, 5.
Yeah.
So max is, I can't think of anything else that you would need an ISBN for. So max is 5. I've never had anyone go more than 5
on one book.
On one book. Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like I said, so those fees, they cover, they keep our lights rolling, they keep everything going. And I mean, I've gotten big enough that I even have a tech guy that
So how do you find the authors?
When I first opened my doors, obviously it was a lot of advertising. Ralph Rotten was my very first author. He writes really good science fiction. And so he and I started talking, and he's like, well, he's like, are you sure this is going to work? I'm like, nope. I'm being honest, nope. But we're going to try. And I explained everything to him, and he really thought it was a good idea. And he had a lot of experience independently. He already had 5 other books out, so he wasn't a brand new author. He knew about indie author or publishing.
Yes.
And he's like, this is really a great idea. And then from there, we just, there's a poet that I had become friends with online who lives in Italy. He's like, hey, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to bring my new poetry book to you. Okay, great.
Okay,
and then,
nice.
Other people that I had made connections with started to kind of come in and go, hey, we're interested. We're going to,
it's like word of mouth, I guess.
Yeah. And so, like I said, at first it was really there was a lot of me going out there and going, hey, look at us. Give us a try, and I say things like keep 100, you get to keep 100% of your royalties, or, collaborative, work with other indie authors, or, all these little highlights of the advantage of being with us. But now I spend a lot of money on advertising, but none of it's for bringing in authors anymore. Almost all of our authors come in by word of mouth. They say, hey, so-and-so published a book with you and had nothing but great things to say, and I want to publish my book with you because they said that you were awesome.
Okay. So you are actually spending the latte money on book advertising.
Oh yeah, it all goes to book advertising.
And that actually turns around and brings you authors.
Yep.
Where do you mostly advertise the books?
Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Oh yeah. We also do offer. We have a free books page, and that our authors have put up either free full-length books or novellas that you can download at any
time. On your
time.
website?
Yeah, on the website. Under if you look on our find new books, and you'll find free books, and you click on the button and you download it. Most of the books you just download directly from our website as a PDF and EPUB or a Kindle edition, and they're completely free. And again,
talking about your website, I got a question for you.
Yes.
You're running some sort of a contest.
Oh, yes. Yes, we are.
Yeah, tell us. Okay.
And it's easy. If you have Twitter, this is the easiest contest you will ever enroll in. All you have to do is take a picture of yourself with one of our books. We have 145 books. If you take a picture with any one of our books, okay, and use the hashtag show us your IUPH books, you will automatically be entered into a contest. And once, as a matter of fact, it'll be this Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, we give out a free Amazon gift card. So
if I take like 50 pictures, I get a better chance?
Well, since it's a random selection, probably, yeah, because you named those before. But yeah, so if it's real, like I said, you take a picture, you use a hashtag, ta-da, you are entered. That's all you have to do.
What do you win though?
$10 gift certificate from Amazon. But
so I'm going to get back to your services and the people you put on your website.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask the question. So I'm guessing you want to grow, right?
Yes.
Okay. and this is 2021, and we are on the 9th
Uh-huh.
actually.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about next year. So you have about, let's just say 50 authors
Oh,
by the end of next year.
Oh no, we'll have more. Okay, what we are doing right now is called exponential growth. Okay, 3 years ago, next week or in 2 weeks, on the 12th, I had, well, actually, let's call it October 1st. I had one author, two, including me. If you include me, we had two. So I had two whole authors, 3 years ago. I am now at 54.
54.
And
Okay.
so like the first year, I think I brought in like 7 or 8 authors. The next year I brought in like an extra 15. And then the rest of them have all come in this last year. So, and I always have, every time we do a book release, every time we have a big thing, I'll start getting more, I'll get 3 or 4 authors that'll contact me. Some, because again, I'm very honest. I have a frequently asked questions packet. It's a PDF that I send out. You can also find it on the website, and it goes through how we run everything. So I make sure that every one of our potential authors knows exactly how we run. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not Willy Wonka. But it's a good book, but yeah, that's not me. It's cook, not making candy either. But so I'll walk them through exactly how we run things. So it's a very, very transparent process.
So shall we say 100 by the end of next year?
I'm thinking it'll probably be 100, if not more.
Because I'm gonna get back on this interview.
Okay.
End of next year. Is that okay?
Right.
How many? And I'm gonna send you a $10. I'm not gonna say Amazon gift because I don't like Amazon.
I don't either.
$10 gift, let's say.
Okay. I like cookies. You can send me cookies.
Cookies, yeah. Well, these are actually the questions that I have. Do you have anything to add?
I have to say, this has been, when I first opened the doors, I wasn't real sure if it was going to work or not. I thought it was a good idea, authors banding together to work collaboratively, because you are always stronger when you go with friends anywhere, so to speak. When someone has your back, when someone else can help, and all of our authors, we market each other. And we've had people come and tell us that that's probably one of the most remarkable things they've ever seen, is our authors don't just market their own stuff. They say nice things about other authors. They every time we have a book launch, that's nice. They send out stuff to their followers. Hey, look, this is a new author by our company. Our authors, we have a site on Discord that they interact and collaborate on projects with. So our authors literally will, they mentor each other, they help each other out, they support each other. So it's like a cooperation. Yeah, I call it, we are a co-op, Wow. And so it's this very, you're not out there in the dark alone. You have friends. I mean, and some of our authors are working collaboratively together to create a book, 2-author book. On storylines that, they're like, hey, this sounds great. We've got, we have all these different projects and that we work together with. And it's something that you're not going to find in a lot of other companies. And that is the inclusion. They sign up, author signs up, author has you answering questions and, going through the process, the publishing process, and etc. And also the author has the other authors with different experiences, different genres, different whatever that he can actually associate with and get more help. Yep. And they beta read for each other. This correctly? Yeah. And they beta read for each other. Yeah. Okay. Aside from the beta readers I have, they beta read for each other, for each other. Yeah. Yeah. And they also advertise for each other. Let's and they advertise or market or whatever. Yeah, I know that I am filling a need that is desperately needed in the publishing world. I am helping out my authors who otherwise would either have been taken advantage of by a vanity publisher or
Yep, yeah, they are very lucky to have you because
yeah,
it's hard to find honest person
yeah.
actually.
And so I mean, I know that I am fulfilling this niche that has never been. There's literally never been anything like this before. I researched to see if there was another company that was, before I opened my doors, to see if this was something that someone else had tried, if it was, a marketing thing. And I found out there was nothing like me. Now there are a couple of companies that I've noticed pop up in like the last 6-8 months. I think they're using us. I've actually even had someone saying, "Hey, I want to open up a company just like yours. Can you give me your business model?" No. Have a nice day.
That's for you to figure out.
Yeah, I'm like, that. No, I'm no. Have a nice day. But so
Yes.
I assume that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So if other
Of
companies
course.
are starting to open up that are similar to mine now, and they're not exactly the same, but they have a similar premise,
Yeah.
that I'm onto something here. This is something that is, it was a need that was going unfulfilled. And
Yes. And with this interview, we're gonna pop this up a little bit more. I'm gonna turn this off.
Welcome to Self-Publishing Authors, home for candid talks and honest recommendations. From book editing to book marketing, from author journeys to inspirations. Hosted by Gurhan Demirkan.